So, hey guys, so it's section 4. You know, all we're doing is journalizing the payments for the taxes, and we're gonna use 3 different. Hey guys, we're gonna use 3 different checks for these payments. So we're gonna use one check, and this is gonna be our first step for our income tax and Social Security and Medicare tax that were withheld. We're going to use one check for those 3 items, and then the unemployment's going to be separate. So we're going to use one check for unemployment for federal, and then underneath one check for unemployment for state. So in the section review, you know, this gives you a description of what we're going to do. If we've got our federal taxes withholdings listed here, and then in the summary, or whatever you want to call this, we've got our unemployment taxes for federal and state listed here in the description underneath, and we've got our steps. So you can look back at, you know, when you do the on your own, after I get done, you know, you can look back at the examples in the book. So we got that for the federal, then we've got our unemployment stuff on 387. So it says, you know, the credit balances on the 31st for the unemployment, for unemployment taxes are listed here. Prepare the journal entry for the withheld taxes. We've got our check numbers in here. So our check number information's in here. Now, our end date is March 31st, but our taxes for the quarter aren't due until the 15th, April 15th. So we'll just start with our date for our journalizing date. We'll just put April 15th. And then for our first account title, because remember these account titles go in our ledgers, first account title is going to be employee income tax payable. And I wrote a little too big, so I had to shorten that up a little bit. So our income tax, that's going to be this number right here in the book, the 1386. We'll put that in our debit column. Then our next one, our Social Security tax. Now, just kind of a reminder, you know, in the book, it shows you employee tax withheld for Social Security and employee Medicare tax withheld for Social Security. Remember, when the company has to pay those in, they have to do matching on those. So we're going to have to double those. I don't remember if the book has that in here or not. I don't think. Yeah, this section doesn't even say anything about it that I can see. Oh, trust me, those get doubled. So our next line under employee income tax payable, Social Security, tax payable, so this is the amount that was withheld from the employees. So as a business, we have to contribute, we have to do matching. So we do that. So instead of $13.22, it's going to be $26.44. And that's going to go here in your debit column also. $26.44 and 10 cents. Because this is going to be everything that the business pays out. So that's why we have to double that to keep track of that. So then our next entry under Social Security is going to be our Medicare tax payable. It shows here the amount that was held with the from the employee's check, $309.25, so it'd be $618.50. Now, just to remind you to go back to section 3. Remember I showed on the tax form the 12.4% instead of 6.2, because 6.2 was withheld from what was withheld from the paycheck. Then the employer has to add in the has to do the matching. So basically, doubling it. So that's what made that 12.4%. So that's just what we're doing here on our journal. So we've got our three amounts for our taxes. So what we're going to do, all three of these are going to go in one check. So we're going to add up all three of these and then put our total over here in the cash credit column. So $13.86.
What was the last one?
$618.50. $13.86 plus $26.44 plus $618.50. So it gives us $46.48.60. That's how much is paid out total for this one check. Out of the cash. And then, let's see, we'll find our check number down here somewhere. So yeah, here in step 1, prepare the journal entry for the withheld taxes, check number 383. So up here in our little check number box, smally right, 383. So there's the withholding taxes, and now we've got to do our unemployment for federal and state. So and remember, we're going to have a separate check for each one of those because those go into different funds. Unemployment. tax payable. Fed. My writing's pretty bad on that one. Is there an employment tax payable for the federal? It says here right underneath the our withholding. Our tax payable is $511.75. So that goes in our debit column. So this is its own track on its own check. So we'll go ahead and bring that entry down here for the cash credit. $511.75. Then we just need to find our check number. Okay, here in step 2, it shows our check numbers 401 and 402. So our check number for Fed is going to be 401. And our date was on the 30th, April 30th, so we had a couple weeks later. And then we'll do our unemployment tax payable state. That's check 402. And our amount. A lot higher amount goes to the state. $3,454.34. Let's go ahead and bring this down to cash credit. Like that. So you don't have to total anything up. Or anything else on here. That takes care of. That's all you have to do for this journal. Just going to do the same thing for the on your own. Pretty easy peasy for this one. A lot easier than the tax form. We look through the on your own one, make sure there's not a curveball in here somewhere. Yep, the on your own's exactly like the work together, just on the other side. So you should have that. About the best I can do on showing it.